Hey
Okay.
everybody, I'm here today with JT from JT's Record Room. If you haven't subscribed to this guy, please go over, hit him up. Great channel, amazing collection of records, fantastic storyteller, and very knowledgeable inside out of music. So you got to subscribe to JT. JT and I have commented on each other's videos for the past few months, and we found out we have some common denominators in our musical tastes. So we decided to get together and do a video together. We were both born in the same year, 1957, graduated in high school from the same year as well, 1975. And we decided, hey, let's get together and do a top 5 albums of 1975. So that's what we're going to do today. JT, how's it going? How you doing today?
Great. Took my little boy to school. He's in first grade and got a late start on that whole gig, but that's just the way it happened. And yeah, I'm ready to do this.
All right, so we're going to hit you first with your number 5 album of 75.
Sure. Boy, Rich, I really rolled around with this a little bit. Um, can I show an honorable mention?
Absolutely.
Um, I'm going to show two because now the first one is the Doobie Brothers,
Okay.
Stampede.
Good
And
one.
this, if you don't know this Doobie Brothers album, this is really about their very best record, in my opinion. It's progressive, it's jazzy, it's rock. It's just an amazing record. This came out in 1975. And if you don't have it, the Doobie Brothers are sometimes overlooked. They're just an amazing band. So this is one that I wanted to mention. And then the other one, which was a strong contender for number 5, would have been Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now, I really wanted to show the Gratitude album. My favorite cut from EWF is Devotion. You have the great Philip Bailey on the falsetto vocals. And I just love Earth, Wind, and Fire. And, 1975, and when I was a senior in high school, I was a real hippie kid, and guys would pull up in their Monte Carlos, and Earth, Wind, and Fire would be just blazing out of their cars. And this was a slow burner for me to fall in love with Earth, Wind, and Fire through the years. But I just love this band. I rate them with Tower of Power, Cold Blood, the Chicago horn section.
Yeah.
And you have Maurice White and Verdine White on bass, one of the most phenomenal bass players. So back to should I go ahead and show my 5?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So this is the one I had to go with. And yeah, let's do this. Okay, some of the kids like to call this dad rock. Here's Steely Dan.
Oh, that's a good one.
Katie lied.
Yep.
And with Katie lied, you have the great Walter Becker, Donald Fagen. You have Jeff Porcaro on drums. He went on with Toto, and the great Denny Diaz on guitar. Rick Derringer plays guitar on this record. Becker and Fagen always got the very, very best players. Michael McDonald makes his very first appearance on this record as just a vocalist. But what a very phenomenal vocalist Michael McDonald is. You even have Hal Blaine drumming from the Wrecking Crew. They brought Hal Blaine in on Any World was the cut that Hal Blaine plays drums on. So Katie lied. Now here's the men. Here they are.
Good one.
This came out in 75, and this record is really close to my heart because all my friends, we were all listening to this, and I was fortunate enough to see Steely Dan twice. They stopped touring in 75 to focus just on studio work, and I got to see him twice. I think in 73 and 74. They were fantastic. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Good choice. That was in my honorable mentions, which I'm going to mention a little bit later, but that's a great pick. My number 5, I got to go with my boys, the Eagles. One of These Nights. Here they are on the back. Now, at this point, they were a 5-member band. They added Don Felder, This is the last record for Bernie Leadon. They would bring in Joe Walsh next time for Hotel California, which would be their next album. But they had a little punch with Felder, who's really a good lead guitar player. This was their fourth studio album, and it's a little more commercial. They had three big singles from this record: Lion Eyes, Take It to the Limit, and the title track, One of These Nights. All were top 10 hits. A couple of them made #1. So I had to go with this. I'm a big Eagles fan. Of course, Hotel California would put them in the stratosphere as megastars, but this laid the groundwork. This was a very commercial record compared to their first three, and I like it quite a bit. It's got a couple of deeper cuts that I like as well, the Hollywood Waltz and After the Thrill Is Gone. I like them both. Very mellow. In fact, on these three singles, Don Henley doesn't even sing lead on them. He got two with Glenn Frey, One of These Nights and Lion Eyes, and Randy Meisner takes the lead on Take It to the Limit. So,
Oh yeah,
very good album. #5 for me. Move over to
all
your number
right.
4.
Love the Eagles. I really love the early Eagles material.
Yeah,
Bernie Leadon. Bernie Leadon, I love that guy, multi-instrumentalist, and
yes.
he played with Gene Clark from the
Oh, that's
Byrds.
right. You know Gene, yeah.
Yeah, but he wrote Train Leaves Here This Morning with Gene, a great Bernie Leadon song. Anyway,
Good.
yeah. Should we go to 4?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm ready. So now this one's a real sleeper. I'm a huge fan of this artist, massive. And I'm going to show this. I could have gone with the other. This artist put out 2 records in 1975, and bam, Neil Young, Zuma. Take the glare off of that. This record, man, this record took years to grow on me, because I never owned this on vinyl in 75 when it was released. When Tonight's the Night came out in early 75, I was all over that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But this record, it was always very mysterious. When
Mhm.
friends would have, I would say, "Oh, you have Zuma?" And I would go over, "Hey, do you mind if I put it on their turntable?" And I would always drop the needle on, of course, Cortez the Killer,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And so the rest of the tracks were pretty elusive to me through the years, until I finally got this either on, what was it? I think I didn't get it until it was on CD. And then I just fell in love with every single track on this record. To me, it's hard for me to rate Neil Young's albums, but this is in the top 5 for sure.
Wow.
And you have Don't Cry No Tears, Danger Bird is so killer, Pardon My Heart, Barstool Blues, Stupid Girl, Cortez the Killer, Through My Sails is Graham Nash, David Crosby, and Steve Stills all singing harmony on the
Mm.
last track on this album. And what's so cool about this, just a little bit more, is this was recorded at Broken Arrow Ranch, and that's Neil's home that he bought. And as a kid back in 75 and 4 and 3, I used to open up that Harvest album and just look at Neil on his ranch, and I was always wondering what kind of drugs he was on, because his eyes were glazed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's one of 4, or maybe all 4 together on different various days. But his ranch, guys, is between Half Moon Bay, if you don't know, and Redwood City, California. We call it down the peninsula from the city of San Francisco. And I mean, you can drive by there. He has a really big spread, and he still has it to this day. And one last thing about this, you had Frank Sampedro, who jumped into the band on guitar after the great Danny Whitten had died of an overdose.
Yeah.
And what a great loss for Neil personally, well, for everybody, because Danny was just such a integral part of Crazy Horse. Yeah, so Zuma is my number 4.
Nice job. Very good. My number 4 is another commercial tune. This is what I like. Fleetwood Mac, the White Album. This is the first one with Buckingham and Nicks. And of course, this would lay the groundwork for Rumors, which would come out in 2 more years. And this is just dynamite. You got the three fantastic singers in Nix, Buckingham, and Christine McVie. They all write their own songs. You still have the rhythm section from the original Fleetwood Mac, John McVie on bass and Mick Fleetwood drums, and that's their hardcore bass that the group was founded on, and they just added a more commercial sound with the Buckingham Nix duo, and they just took off from there. They were just a different band, but still an excellent band. And I think Lindsey Buckingham is one of the more underrated guitar players out there. He is fantastic. That finger picking style that he has. He's fun to watch if you see videos of him, but you can hear it the way he plays. He's a master of the guitar. He really is. And always been a fan. I was, obviously in high school when this album came out, and who knew that Rumors would be the one a couple years later that would make them megastars. And of course, the drugs started to kick in, and I never particularly was a fan of Tusk, although a lot of hardcore Fleetwood Mac fans love Tusk. I've never been able to adapt to it. I like these two albums, Fleetwood Mac and Rumors, the best. That's their peak as far as I'm concerned. All right, number 3 for you.
All right. Yeah, I love Fleetwood Mac, and I also especially love the Wilderness years with Danny Kerwin and Bob Welsh, and all the Peter Green stuff. But what you say about Lindsey and Stevie, I mean, they added a whole new dynamic to the band. I love every aspect of Fleetwood Mac. So great pick, Rich.
Thanks.
So yeah, number 3. Now, I don't have this on vinyl, and from the flip side with JC, Josh, he just scored this on I think a MoFi, and I got to go with Blues for Allah, Grateful Dead.
Nice.
Now, this record, this is the one that came out on the radio, and before we started our little stream today, I was telling Rich how 1975 was such a huge year for me. I skipped out of high school. I didn't even go to graduation. I went in the dean's office, got my diploma, gave it to my dad, hitchhiked to LA, hitchhiked up the Coast Highway with my road dog, Chris Feeney, Crazy Chris. He had his dog, I had my guitar, he had his harmonica, and our destination was eventually North Lake Tahoe, California, and Nevada side. It's split right down the middle between the two states. And in the fall, we camped out all summer long. We just played music all summer long. Didn't hear the radio too much. But when we moved in, because it was starting to get cold in the mountains, we moved into a little house. And we had a great radio station. Rich, the FM stations back in the day, weren't they just the best?
Fantastic.
The best. And we had one called KSML. K-Smell. Okay, what does that stand for? Right?
Exactly.
We know what that stands for. So K-Smell, when this record came out, they played Help on the Way every day, like probably 2-3 times a day. Franklin's Tower.
Yeah.
And I love this album. And so I heard it a lot. And so, yeah, that's this is my number 3 pick. And, I'm not really a Deadhead because I only saw the band 50 times with Jerry. My other friends, were, and you have the East Coast Dead back there, guys that saw 300 shows.
I know.
200. I mean, come on. I was a working man's Dead. I had a job, and I'd maybe see 1 or 2 shows in a row, not like 4 or 5 or 20.
Yeah.
So
I like what you
anyway,
said about
Grateful
the
Dead.
FM stations back then too, because they used to play album sides, and I mean, just stuff that they don't get away with today. Everything's off of a sheet, and you have to play the certain songs that they want you to program, and it's just a different way of operating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My number 3 is Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. I had to get this in. Of course, this is his divorce album, very personal type lyrics. His 15th studio album, if you believe it or not, by 75. He already had 15 in the books. So
Wow.
Just so prolific. He's over 40. I think he's in his 40s now as far as number of albums he has. But it leads off with Tangled Up in Blue, which is just one of the most beautifully poetic songs you could write. He takes you on that journey of memories leading up to his relationship. I just love every word of that song. Simple Twist of Fate is another song that I like as well. It's all about timing sometimes in a relationship, right place at the right time. Some women that you think you're going to hook up with, they fall through the cracks and you end up with somebody else. And of course, Shelter with the Storm. What an epic that is. A lot of biblical references in there, and uh, the meaning is a little ambiguous, but like a lot of Dylan songs, it's up to interpretation. And you take the words and decipher what they mean to you, and you spin it your way. So Dylan's the master, the greatest songwriter of all time in my book, lyricist anyway. Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks at number 3.
Awesome. If I didn't pick it, I figured you would.
Thanks. All right, cool. Top 2.
Oh man, top 2. So this had to be, because now early in 75, Rich, I know you remember we were both, I was chomping at the bit trying to get out of high school. I was pretty over it by that time. And in the spring of 1975, I used to hang out with my friend Bill Valaire in his bedroom, getting stoned, and he had this record, and we listened to this incessantly. And I mean, I would just trip out on this one right here, guys. Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here.
Yep.
And this is my favorite Floyd album. It just is. I mean, Dark Side is wonderful. Animals is close, but I love Wish You Were Here so much. And this is the, guys, this is the Bernie, I just picked this up. This is the great Bernie Grundman remaster. There's the hype.
Wow.
And if Josh is watching, I got to show that hype. And so that's, you have James Guthrie that worked on this with Bernie Grundman. And this packaging is so very cool. It comes in this little case here. And, for me, the big track is Wish You Were Here. Gilmore, I just remember being just stoned. We were like, we had entered the mini marijuana Olympics for our region. I mean, we just used to get just baked. And hearing Wish You Were Here for the first time, where the guitar is coming through a scratchy radio, and then you hear Gilmore coming in soloing over the top of that scratchy radio rhythm, and it just blew my mind. And to this day, I still kind of use that as a guitarist. It's just brilliant. It's genius what he did. Well, the whole album from the very first needle drop to the last note on that record is just wonderful. I do love metal as well, but for me, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, my number 2 pick for 1975.
That actually just missed my list. That was number 6 on my list, by the way. If we were doing a top 10, it would have been in there. But I have a problem with only 5 songs on the record. I know it's a masterpiece. I know it's brilliant. But for me, I need a little more than 5 tunes. That's just my own personal preference. But it's undeniably great. And the title track is the best Pink Floyd song of all time. Wish You Were Here. That particular song. But Dark Side's my favorite album. My number 2, I do not have on vinyl. It is Physical Graffiti. Only have it on CD. I don't know what happened to my vinyl. Somebody must have borrowed it, hitchhiked it, whatever. It's no longer here. But I bought it on CD. This is just a tremendous rock album, hard rock, double album, by the way. It's got a little bit of prog. It's got some straight up rock and roll, hard rock, a little bit of folk, blues, everything thrown in. And just listen to I'm just going to throw out 9 songs that I think are immortal Zepp classics. Kashmir, Trampled Underfoot, In the Light, 10 Years Gone, Custard Pie, In My Time of Dying, The Rover, Down by the Seaside, and Houses of the Holy, all on one album.
Absolutely.
That's peak Plant and Page, baby. They're just taking it to another level there. That's my number 2.
Cool. So great. I do have it on vinyl, my original from right around the late 70s
Yeah.
when I bought that one. It's still in good shape.
Yeah. Cool. Now we're down to the numero uno, baby, number one.
Oh man. So I really had to think, and but okay, I'm just going to show you this one. This is it, guys. Bob Marley, the live album. This came out in late 1975. And, guys, when this came out, the only track I really heard was I Shot the Sheriff.
Oh, yeah.
In late 75, because Eric Clapton had done that.
Yep.
And he really, he didn't have to help Bob Marley in Bob Marley's career worldwide, globally. But, Clapton was that way. I did a video on that. And Clapton just wanted to showcase how great this man's music was and is. It's so pertinent even today. This album really transcends when it came out in 75. Now, I really got into this in the late 70s, and we used to drive out to Humboldt County, and we know what they grow out there in Humboldt County in Northern California. And we went out there, and I didn't know we were going to do a little independent film out there, and it was kind of like a spin-off of Monty Python. And there were all these hippies back there. They were growers, and they were all wonderful people. And I remember we stayed there for 3 days, and when we left, they were around a campfire. They had a big old boombox, and No Woman, No Cry was blaring out of the boombox. And it made me very emotional. It just made me want to just stay there and just stay there for another day or two with these people. And so through the years, this album is just so amazing. You have the great Al Anderson on guitar, his solo on No Woman, No Cry. It's such an iconic song, and the rendition of this. And then you have the I3s. You have his wife, Rita Marley. You have Marcia Griffiths, who's a reggae superstar all on her own. And Judy Mowat, who's also a reggae star, as the backup singers. And what's amazing about this record is this coming out in 1975. A year later, they tried to assassinate Bob Marley, and Bob Marley was shot in the chest and the arm, and Rita was shot in the head. They all survived, and
Wow.
you can read about it because it's a very interesting part of history. But this is Bob Marley's message of peace and love, positivity, and equality, to me, still rings in, especially is so pertinent to the times that we're going through today.
Yeah.
So this record is just so relevant in the year 2021 as well. I had to pick this as my number one. I just want to end it with this. Bob Marley, 2 days later, went and appeared for the concert that he was scheduled to perform at. Here he was wounded, shot in the chest and the arm. The man performed the whole show. This is, now the album Legend, right?
Yeah.
Bob Marley Legend. Well, where did he get that name? It's almost like sainthood for Bob Marley. He was a spiritual man, great songwriter. He wrote almost all of his songs. He didn't write No Woman, No Cry. That was written by Vincent Ford. That's a whole story in itself. But Bob Marley wrote all these songs, and what a great songwriter, singer, performer, spiritual person, just everything. I love, love, love Bob Marley. So that's my number one. And just one little, let me get that a little bit closer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Rich.
Great job. Great pick. And it reflects your musical taste. I think all 5 of your records do. So
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. And that's the whole point. That's why we're here. My number one, of course, you could probably predict it. East Coast guy. I'm going with the Boss.
Yeah.
Born to Run.
Bruce.
What can I say? It's probably one of my favorite albums of all time. This is his breakout album. It's his third one after Greetings and The Wild, the Innocent, the E Street Shuffle. It's brilliant songwriting. The lyrics, the lyricism, to me, it's all about the songs. And I love Bruce's lyrics. this features the band. The band's strong on here. Clarence, his sax, and Roy Bittan on piano. They're just dynamite. These epic sagas like Jungle Land. Oh my God, what a song that is. It's a masterpiece to end the album. It's like a West Side Story. Put the music with just the way he paints the landscape, the tenements and the different girlfriends at night and back home with the hoods on the street, and it's just beautiful stuff. I can see West Side Story in those lyrics. Thunder Road, it's about getting out. It's a town full of losers pulling out of here to win, just leaving that lifestyle behind and finding a better way in the world. Same with Born to Run. Tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. He has those iconic lyrics that just jump off, out of the page for you. Backstreets, it's about teenage friendship. Catching rides to the outskirts, tying faith between our teeth, sleeping in that old abandoned beach house, getting wasted in the heat, and hiding on the back streets. Just absolutely killer songwriting. So that's going to be my number one. Bruce Springsteen's Born to Run. I just wanted to throw out some quick honorable mentions. You had a few of them here. Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here was my number 6. I love Bowie's Young Americans. Bad Company, Straight Shooter. Katie Lied by Steely Dan. Even Paul Simon, Still Crazy After All These Years, is a nice album.
Absolutely.
Both the Neil Young albums I have listed, Tonight's the Night and Zuma. And then for more pop rock, you got A Night at the Opera by Queen, Toys in the Attic, Aerosmith, and Rod Stewart's Atlantic Crossing. I considered all of them, but I went with the 5 I went with. And that's it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Rich, what a great year to graduate high school, huh? 1975.
Yeah, and there's so many more that we didn't even touch on. I mean, the radio is filled with great songs, great albums. And every time you hear it, it just brings you back to that time. It really does.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we want to keep this video relatively short. So we're going to thank JT for joining me today. Subscribe to his channel. I'm telling you, JT's Record Room, you got to check it out if you haven't. Many of you have, and I know because I've talked to people and they love your channel, JT. So check it out, subscribe to him, and please leave comments. Let us know your favorite albums of 75. Give us some of your memories of that time. Even if you weren't alive back then, I'm sure you have listened to the albums from that year, and everybody has a favorite. So thanks again. Take care, everybody, and we will see you next time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Rich.